Today is May 21st, and we're doing business and security stories for the middle of the week. This is Links with Friends, once again missing a friend, but he shall be back.
You don't know that.
Yeah, he
What
should
if
be.
you say that and then he's not? It'll be extra
And then
sad.
someone clips it, and then it goes out of context, and it goes viral. It's like, look at this insensitive asshole.
And so last week the big story was Apple. They lost. They've peeled, but they lost. And they were pretty petulant about it, and they continue to be as petulant as humanly possible and really flirting with disaster here. I mean, this is a nasty, nasty piece of work.
I have to lean forward to read this
Oh.
headline. Epic resubmits Fortnite to U.S. App Store after not hearing from Apple for 120 plus hours.
So you're thinking at first, oh, wow, they're just being really petty about this. They're going to do it.
Maybe someone's on vacation.
But it's like, wow, guys, do you really? I mean, come on, you're not going to turn them down. But then this morning,
Apple blocks Fortnite App Store resubmission after court ruling, Epic Games says.
no Fortnite in the App Store. They have said no. That's amazing.
Can they do that? I guess they can.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Not long term, but they can right now. And every day that they do it, that's going to cost Epic some money, right?
That's... What if you're the guy who just has to like toggle that switch and you're getting like furious emails from like legal and everybody else and you're just like, I don't know what to
That came from the top.
Yeah.
That was a Tim Cook decision. 100%. No way it wasn't. And Chegg. Remember Chegg? Chegg showed up during the dark times when everybody was looking for educational alternatives, and they were like, yeah, we're going to teach your kids, and we have this great online platform, e-learning. That's the wave of the future, right? Well, that turned out not to be the case.
Chegg to lay off 22% of workforce as AI tools shake up edtech industry.
Yeah, it turns out that nobody's asking Chegg for advice. They just ask an LLM for advice. And it's kind of almost as good, maybe.
Maybe is good, but you won't know until you run into a catastrophic failure.
Could be completely wrong. Could be just making things up. Most of the time it's good. And that is a trend that we're seeing in terms of layoffs. And this one is a company that's already done this a couple of times this year.
Microsoft laying off about 6,000 people, or 3% of its workforce. This is a different headline than I saw. The original was just like 3%. And someone was like, it makes it sound a lot worse if you say 6,000 people.
But what makes it even worse than that is that they were clear in the press release, this is non-performance related.
Yeah.
So these aren't people who aren't doing their jobs correctly. It's just that Microsoft decides they don't need as many people. Good job, go away. And the search engine war has certainly changed. There's been a disruptive technology. And what used to be the last bastion of, hey, I want to run a search engine, but I don't want to do business with Google, well, say goodbye to that.
Microsoft cuts off access to Bing search data as it shifts focus to chatbots.
One big exception, because a lot of people don't know this, but DuckDuckGo is Bing. That's just Bing. It's reskinned Bing. It's the Bing API, but they have confirmed that DuckDuckGo will continue to get their access to it.
I swap between search engines depending on what I need to look up.
Try to keep one advertising profile from getting all of your information. Like break it up. Have different. Who does Dark Krista search with?
Dark Krista searches with DuckDuckGo.
Okay.
But like sometimes for certain like work related queries I'll use Google, or like sometimes if I'm looking for a very specific meme image, like DuckDuckGo's image search is not very good.
Well, pretty soon you're going to be using AI for everything. We all are. But maybe not this. Not if you're using this software, because, well, I mean, I guess they still have to use a search engine. They use the Chinese ones, but they will be removing all of Windows and Android from everything.
Huawei introduces its first laptop running HarmonyOS rather than Windows.
Why would they do it? Well, they're banned from having any sort of American technology, so they don't have a choice. And they claim that this one is perfectly good. Now, will it run Windows software? No. Will it run Android software? No. But they claim to have 2,000 of their own apps that will take care of everything.
No Steam?
Can you use Steam in China?
I don't know.
Yeah, you probably can.
There's a lot of Chinese language stuff. I guess that doesn't necessarily mean that it's used in China, but probably.
If it's Linux based, then Steam would probably still work, right? Because SteamOS.
Yeah.
And not just Apple controlling the walled garden and making sure that no one can do anything that they don't like on the App Store, but Google now getting into the game of saying what you can and cannot do on their devices.
Nextcloud cries foul over Google Play Store app rejection.
So what's at odds here is the access all files permission. Now Nextcloud is a cloud sync storage type of deal. So it needs to look at the files on your phone so that you can manage between the cloud and like what you're backing up and everything. Right. And Google says, no, we don't like that. Access all files is too dangerous. We're going to reject your app until you dumb that down and use the lesser stuff.
Meanwhile, Google Drive.
Yeah.
So sifting through all your files.
Yeah, Google can access all files, obviously, yeah. But not Nextcloud. And this goes back to the whole like, okay, you're limiting our functionality because we compete with your product. Which seems pretty cut and dry in that case.
Oh, and here's the saddest story of the week.
I'm so disappointed in all of you.
Netflix says its ad tier now has 94 million monthly active users.
People are willing to watch the ads.
That's
but guess
unbelievable
what?
To me.
When you let the ads in, when you let that it's like a vampire.
Yeah.
If you invite it into your home, it's only going to get worse, and it's never going to be satisfied.
You give a mouse a cookie. Netflix will show generative AI ads midway through streams in 2026.
And in the pause screen, they've announced. So if you pause your Netflix show, you're going to see an AI-generated ad.
I don't want that. I'm not interested in that. I'm not interested in ads in any form, but
94 million people are interested in it. I mean, are they just too poor, you think? It's cheaper, but it's not that much cheaper.
Yeah, I would think you would just cut Netflix entirely. Like,
just
if you don't want to pay for it.
Skip a fast food meal this month. Get some crackers and some ketchup, and then enjoy your
ketchup soup, as you do.
And Valve is out there really trying to bring Linux to the new generation. And they're not going to do it on the desktop, but they are going to do it on something that the kids seem to love.
Valve takes another step forward toward making SteamOS a true Windows competitor.
So I think this is the new Asus one, and they're saying, yes, we're going to make this. It's not going to be a Steam exclusive for the Steam Deck. No, we want every handheld running SteamOS. And we're going to open things up, and this is newer hardware, so they are working actively on making it compatible with the newer hardware as it comes down the pipeline.
What if they what if the Mad Lads actually do it and they release Half-Life 3?
Wow, that would be something, right?
That'd be something to look forward to.
What if that happens and then Gabe dies the next day? Like, that's what he was here for.
That was his purpose.
He spent all of his good energy to bring us this.
And then a horrible, horrible takeover happens at Valve, and then it's only a matter of time, right? It seems like every big company eventually...
Maybe his goodwill is what's shielding us from everything, and also the invasion of Taiwan would happen the next day.
Oh.
Yeah, because we've lost him. He would have to be reborn and grow up again.
Like an Avatar.
To protect the world. I've never seen Avatar.
The kid show. You probably wouldn't like it, but...
Oh no, I'm not seeing that.
Same kind of thing.
And this shows you the problem with a lot of modern software in that someone will build something that's maybe okay. I don't know if this was okay, but I mean, they seem to be. And you'll buy into it and you're like, okay, I like this one. It seems safe. Let's go with that. And then without you knowing it, someone buys it and they have much different ideas.
A VPN firm says it didn't know customers had lifetime subscriptions and cancels them.
So lifetime doesn't mean anything. They just turned it off.
Our lifetime, not yours.
Also, they pointed out that lifetime in most agreements, if you read the fine print, is not lifetime. This one, for example, was 20 years. They called it lifetime, but it was 20 years. Which is not... You know what? I've been alive more than 20 years. I don't know about you.
No, I haven't.
Actually, I do know about you. And we got a design store, and boy, was this like kind of. I guess if you got a good design, you don't want to change
lateral.
it much.
Yeah,
right?
usually big companies don't make massive changes to their icon. Google updating its G icon for the first time in 10 years.
All right, drum roll. There it is.
It's
so
all right.
similar.
The thing, I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter because they're a digital company, so 99% of the time it doesn't matter. Usually with logos, you want something that can work in black and white. I guess this technically can, but before you could have done like a segment to indicate all the color changes. Now it's all a gradient, so it would have to be just one solid color.
How much money do you think they spent on that?
Thousands. Actually, it probably was done internally, right?
More than thousands. Yeah, but just the man hours?
Uh-huh.
How many different emails do you think that generated?
Thousands of emails.
I would say tens of thousands. If you
How many meetings?
Count all the BCCs? Yeah, it's just insane. When's the last time you played Overwatch?
When did they swap to Overwatch 2? When did they take Overwatch 1 from us?
I don't know the timeline.
I played the last weekend of Overwatch 1. And then I think I played the beta of Overwatch 2, and I was like, I'm not playing this.
Well, it's still out there, amazingly. Still going. It's free now. But the team has some doubts.
Blizzard's Overwatch team just unionized. What I want to protect most here is the people.
Between the lines, they mentioned crunch and, like protecting the team's jobs as they're seeing the layoffs in the industry. But really, I think underlying all of this is like, you're going to replace this with AI, aren't you?
Yeah.
You are, aren't you?
You're just going to do a bunch of AI-generated skins, and then there's going to be no features ever again, aren't you?
So this was apparently everybody but the managers. Oh, sorry.
Your email is just going nuts.
It's Teams.
You forgot to silence it. Gotta silence it. Do. We were just talking about the Android update. I don't know if you guys got it yet, but you now have to we discovered you have to swipe a very particular way.
It's right versus left because you'll bring down the Wi-Fi Bluetooth menu with the right.
Your settings versus your
notifications
notifications
on the left, and I hate it.
Yeah. We didn't realize what was causing it to sometimes work one way or the other, but it's literally just a gesture, and it's very subtle.
Isn't that a sign of bad UI?
Yeah.
It's not intuitive at all.
It's not.
You took something that worked one way and you changed it, and we don't know that you changed it. And this is moving to hardware, and we start hardware the same way we start software, with very bad news.
Panasonic to cut 10,000 jobs in major restructuring. Ugh.
And maybe bringing some manufacturing to the U.S. instead of Japan to try and
appease.
Deal with this whole thing.
Create an account to continue reading, Ryan.
I will not. And Nvidia has admitted that, yes, they will be passing the prices on to us.
Nvidia reportedly raises GPU prices by 10 to 15% as manufacturing costs surge. Tariffs and TSMC price hikes filter down to retailers.
Now, I don't know if they made this decision before or after the 10% changes.
Or after that disastrous dinner.
But, I mean, if you're Nvidia, you can't really count on anything right now, right? I mean,
Yeah.
You have to kind of expect more disruption. And we should all expect more price hikes. And if it does all go away, I think we should expect those prices to stay where they are. Because they ain't rolling them back. They're not Walmart. And Apple, 2027 will be the anniversary, right? I think it's 2027.
Of the iPhone.
Of the iPhone. And so they got to do something because the iPhone sales are sort of languishing. They haven't really changed anything. And a lot of people are guessing about what it's going to be.
Apple may release a mostly glass curved iPhone in 2027. Who is crazy enough to not put a case on their phone?
Me?
You don't have a case on yours?
My phone is naked, raw.
Have you ever dropped it?
Yeah.
And it's been fine?
Perfectly fine.
Wow. I always keep a case on mine because I don't trust myself to not, or my cat, to not knock it off of stuff.
So yeah, no one's really sure exactly how this would work. Now the curve feels like that. If it's made of glass and it's curved and I have that in my pocket, that feels like that's going to cause stress.
Is it going to be the bendy phone? Remember they had that many years
ago? Bendy glass?
I guess it would shatter, wouldn't it?
Yeah. They also apparently hate the cutouts for the camera lenses, and they want to try to put the camera lenses behind the screen somehow. I've never looked at it and thought to myself, oh, those cameras. I hate them. I just want it
to work.
But they got to do something. They got to shake it up. And this is one of the reasons.
iPhone shipments crash, is it 58 or 59?
50.
50 in China as local brands dominate. It's such a tiny headline from back here, guys. You guys, I'm like 3 feet away.
It's not that bad. So yeah, the Chinese are rejecting the iPhone. Now, maybe that's from nationalism and the whole idea of like, hey, we got to stand up against the U.S. Or maybe it's because they're so poor because, the Chinese economy is getting hurt the same as ours. But for whatever reason, they're going with local options and they're not doing the iPhone anymore.
I don't really get it. I mean, I'm never someone who gets super excited about phones, but like, what is there to get excited about in new phones anymore? All of them have great cameras, like,
I don't care. I'm with you. I mean, I don't have a bad phone. I have a pretty nice phone. Right?
Yeah.
So maybe if you had a bad phone, you would understand that they're slow and crappy or whatever. But there's other things I'm more concerned about. And I'm certainly not concerned about this one, which once again, I am ashamed of all of you. How is it that we went from, Nintendo's made a terrible error, they're anti-consumer, there's backlash, to sold out pre-orders, people fighting in the streets for them.
Nintendo says your Switch 2 isn't really yours, even if you paid for it. Yay.
So I have a Nintendo account from my brief time where I had a Switch, which was a terrible investment.
Switch 1.
And I got the email and they're like, we've updated the terms of service. When I saw that, I was like, I know what that's about. And yeah, if you try to bypass anything in that system, in the terms of service, they reserve the right to brick it remotely. Wow. And they'll do it.
Are you playing Pal World? I don't think you can play that on there, but you found a way.
Oh, yeah. If you found out a way to put SteamOS on the Switch, you're done. Never again. And they'll shut down your account, too. So all the stuff you bought online.
That's not, you got to rebuy it if you want it. Yeah.
God, they probably get you for ban evasion if you try to do that again, right?
Wow.
Yeah. They're not having it. And you shouldn't have them in your home. But you're going to have this in your home and maybe too much of it, and maybe it's going to burst into flames. But whatever, we're going to keep using it.
Volcanic white gold, a lithium deposit valued at $1.5 trillion, has been discovered in the U.S.
That's in Oregon, in a
caldera.
Yeah, a place where there's not like any houses or anything.
It's probably like a nature preserve.
It absolutely is. Yeah. So we're going to have stories where it's like some rare lizard is causing us to not have this lithium because it's very disruptive how they have to go get it.
Yeah, it would destroy.
You got to dig out this stuff and crush it up, and yeah. Good money if you're a geologist, though, to go out there and scout that for them. And more price hikes because you know why.
Sony considers PS5 price hikes to cover Trump's tariffs.
And again, they mention here, maybe doing some manufacturing in the U.S. to try to defeat this kind of thing. But for now, expect to pay more.
That's probably just universally true across every product category.
Absolutely. Oh, except for labor.
Yeah, in which case, yeah. Humans are never more cheap.
And Philips, they're doing a good guy thing here, and they've introduced a new program. The fine print is maybe a little less than what they're saying here, but let's give them some credit.
Philips debuts 3D printable components to repair products.
Now you see here, they've 3D printed a guard for a razor there. You see that?
Yeah.
That's the only one. That's all they've got. That's the whole program right there. But there might be more. So stay tuned. You can go and download that and print it to their specifications.
Great if you're one of the people who, the Venn diagram, people who own a razor and a 3D printer.
Right. And are willing to go to that length.
Yeah.
For probably a $5 part. Or maybe more than $5 now that you can't get it from Temu. Uber, they got the self-driving taxis, and they said to themselves, you know what? We feel like people might want to have transportation where they can get together and save on the costs. And yeah, this is a bus.
Uber to introduce fixed route shuttles in major U.S. cities designed for commuters. Yeah, they've reinvented the bus.
That is a little different. in that you will still use the app, but you will pay 50% of the price, which seems high, don't you think, to ride the bus? What's it cost to ride a public bus?
Like, well, it used to be like 25 cents.
Well, I'd say it's probably at least $1 now, right?
Yeah,
in a major city, it's probably a couple bucks.
Yes, I don't know. I used to take ones around the little town I lived in college, but like it was free for students. So,
but it will be a max of 3 people in the minibus. So you have up until 10 minutes before the bus arrives at the location to reserve your spot, and then it'll do like a predetermined loop, but it sounds like they're keeping it open. If you want to pay more, it'll come to your house. Which means that if you're riding the bus,
how
you might
annoying
have to go to
is that? It's like all of the drawbacks of riding the bus plus drawbacks of like other random people being on the bus with you and being able to change the route.
But it would cut the number of stops, so it's still probably faster than a traditional bus, right? But you are paying quite a bit for it compared to a traditional bus.
I'd rather just ride the bus. Like I'd rather walk the 10 minutes to the bus stop instead of having like 5 10-minute detours to someone's house.
Well, I would still just rather drive a car, but it seems like car ownership is something that might be going extinct. And Tesla had some interesting ideas about that. So much so that if you lease from them, they were like, no, you can't buy it out. We need it. We're taking it back. And now they may have changed their ideas about that.
Tesla changes lease policy, didn't use old cars as robotaxis.
So they told the leaseholders, hey, you might want to buy this out, but no, we can't let you. But don't worry, because this is good for the environment. We're going to use these as robotaxis after you're done with it, and it'll be good, right? It like moves things forward. Well, they didn't do that. Instead, what they did was resell them.
Ethical. Paragon of ethics.
And this is maybe the story of the week, because it took us a long time to get here for the security section, but this one is definitely, it ruffled some feathers.
Rogue communication devices found in Chinese solar power inverters.
Now, these inverters have communications. Generally, whoever sets these up will take efforts to block that, right? To make sure that it's only communicating with who it should. But there was another communication device not listed in these specifications that has been discovered. And this is very dangerous because these inverters are what converts the DC to AC, because we don't have spinny things doing the power anymore. Well, we do have windmills, but it's different. Windmills do not create AC power.
Really?
No, they create DC power. And I think because they need to be variable speed. But we need that to get it back into the grid, and apparently China has backdoors.
Bad news.
Real bad news. After what we saw happen to Spain,
Ugh.
yeah, that could be done maybe on demand.
Talk about like, the stomach drop when something goes wrong on a project you're working on. The whole grid goes down and you're a grid operator in Spain. The stomach drop.
And Palantir. Yeah, that's right. Palantir. They're out there and they're partnering with all of the authoritarians.
License plate reading firm reportedly building a surveillance tool for cops using hacked data.
I'm sorry, this was not Palantir. This is Flock.
Oh, they're here.
Yeah.
I hate that. I see them up on the pole sometimes and I'm like, if I was a worse person, or maybe a better person,
Krista.
I would maybe spray paint those. But
so here's the thing about this. Like, you're probably thinking, well, they already did that, right? Well, here's the difference. They, much like our glorious leaders and law enforcement agencies, are buying data, but they're not just buying data from data brokers. They're using data from breaches, from stolen data. They're putting stolen data into the license plate data set to get more connections. So if they can get stolen data and tie that to your license plate, they add that to your profile, even though it was stolen.
that's fine though. Cops can have a little stolen data.
It feels illegal to me.
And in Montana, it would be, but it's not everywhere.
Now, let's say that you went to Walmart and stole a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
And you came to me and you're like, hey, this is stolen stuff. You want to buy it? And I knew it was stolen and I bought it. I think that's a crime.
Yeah. Well, is it?
Yeah, for sure.
Is it actually?
Accepting stolen property is for
I guess
sure.
if you know if it's stolen.
Right,
yeah.
exactly. But they're doing that
Yeah.
on a massive scale.
But it's okay for them because they're cops.
It's also okay, apparently, if you are an airline.
Airlines are selling your data to ICE. Don't love that. Again, another reason where I'm like, oh, I really don't want to fly.
So yeah, that's pretty much the whole story, right? You can't not give them your information. You got to get through TSA. You got to do all this stuff. Well, they turn around and sell it for a profit to the government, who should have to get a warrant, but doesn't, because except in Montana. What do you think is going to happen to the airlines in Montana?
You mean all like 2 of them?
Wow, you're really.
I'm sorry.
Montana.
It's a small state, and sometimes I just. Sorry if you're from Montana.
I think they outrank Kentucky in like every metric for like life expectancy.
Oh, I'm sure, like, yeah,
income,
education and stuff.
Yeah.
Listen, Kentucky, listen, we have our own problems.
We're at the bottom. We beat West Virginia and Mississippi.
Yeah, West Virginia and Mississippi, they're garbage.
Sometimes Arkansas. And there was a major hack that worried me a little bit. I checked. Mine's still there.
Coinbase announces $20 million reward for information on individuals attempting to extort the exchange.
So this was another supply chain type of deal. They got information about the users, and then they went to Coinbase and they were like, hey, you need to pay us $20 million, or otherwise we're going to use this information to extort all of your users. But Coinbase did not play ball. Instead, they have now said, we will pay the $20 million to you if you will help us find these people.
Uno reverse card.
Oh. And over in the UK, they had a pretty big, I don't know how, like, I think this is a pretty big name store, right?
Is this like a Nordstrom or like a department
store? Maybe
like
a JCPenney, something like that. Maybe a little higher class.
Marks and Spencer confirms customers' personal data was stolen in hack.
It's the usual laundry list of names, date of birth, home, email address, phone number, household information, and order histories, which is pretty much all you need to pretend to be somebody.
Yeah.
And you might be thinking, well, it's good that that's happening over there and not to me.
Aggressive hackers of UK retailers are now targeting US stores, says Google.
Why not?
Yeah.
Scattered
It worked on
spider.
one. Let's grab Macy's while we're here.
The scattered spiders are coming for your records. Which makes me say that, like, hey, maybe they shouldn't have that information.
If they can't protect it, yeah.
Which they clearly cannot. One thing that we've been seeing a lot of is these secret job seekers who are actually not the person you think they are, but rather North Koreans. And they're actually not bad at the jobs. They get the job done, but they secretly, exfiltrate or add backdoors or whatever. And now one company has found an interesting way of detecting them.
A North Korean agent applied for a job at a popular crypto firm. They tripped him up with a simple question about Halloween.
So it was Halloween when they were doing the interview. And he was like, oh, hey, you're down in Houston. Some kids are going to be coming to your house tonight. Some of them might even have chainsaws. What do you plan to do? And the guy was like, nothing special. He didn't know what Halloween was.
Oh.
And he also, because Houston is, they're famous for like barbecue and like big restaurants and stuff. And he was like, oh yeah, what's your favorite restaurant in the Houston area? And the guy was like, oh, they're all the same. So they caught him. He did not get the job.
America has a lot of problems, but in terms of like different types of cuisine, that is something like even this, like our community is not very big, but even our area has quite a few different types of restaurant.
Oh, well, listen, Kentucky might be low on like literacy and GDP and all that stuff, but our food is fantastic.
Yeah.
Country food is amazing. Also, so if you're North Korea, how do you balance, we can't let our people learn about the Western culture,
but we need them to be able to pass through these tests about Western culture.
What do you do about that?
Teach them only about Halloween in restaurants.
And the cops have once again found the origin of a botnet, and it's inside your own house.
It's coming from inside the house. Police dismantles botnets selling hacked routers as residential proxies.
That is bad grammar, isn't it?
Yeah, I was like, I'm not sure if this is me stumbling over a tiny headline or if it's just written poorly.
Unless it was just one cop, but then you wouldn't say police, right?
Yeah.
Police person. So this was, what brand of routers? I don't know. One of the really old, ubiquitous brands. A lot of them were out of date, and they were just used no many times. And this was where they had the...
Oh, I love it. Who gets to design these? I want this job. I want to design these pages.
That could be in your future at some point.
Yeah.
But yeah, Linksys and Cisco routers, these models here. And they had a place where you could just go and rent them and a nice little interface and a control panel. Really good system. That's what they shut down there.
And replaced it with their beautiful, you've been seized notification.
And protect your Steam account. Yes, that's right. You really, really, really should use two-factor because even the glorious Gaben is not immune to supply chain attacks.
Valve confirms Steam 2-factor leak affecting 89 million users, no passwords compromised. Now, see, I saw another story that said that they weren't.
So it was not Steam. It was the company that sent out the text messages for two-factor. So they have your phone number, how many times you two-factored, and any kind of like security questions that you put in that whole process, I think. So they don't have your password. They don't even necessarily know your email address. Maybe just your phone number.
There's a lot of like, I guess I saw a couple different stories about it and then I was confused because I was like, I don't know which one's the most recent.
Yeah, you're probably okay, but Steam isn't even recommending you change your password. I mean,
Probably should just do it anyway, yeah.
But definitely the two-factor. And Steam's now got its new authenticator thing, and they're saying, please just do this. Which is super annoying because I don't always have my phone with me.
Yeah, you sit down and it's like, oh, I'm going to sit down at the computer. Oh, I have to go get my phone across the house.
But the alternative is worse.
Yeah.
So,
I have to go to the bank and argue with people? Ugh.
Or I have to lose. God, I have so many Steam games.
Yeah.
One thing about being old, you got a lot of Steam games.
That's just been true throughout history, They've always been writing about it. Once you get old.
No, because I remember when Steam came into existence.
I know.
Yeah. Half-Life 2. They got us.
That does work. All right. Well, speaking of working, I guess not really working because it'll be AI section, but we do AI and nonsense on Fridays. We'll see you then. Bye.